Hey there guys, Ectomaster here once again, and I am bringing you the latest information about Mr. Pandaria. No, I didn't get to go, but I do have all the information in front of me. I'm going to do my best to relay all of that to you. It's going to take a little bit of time, guys. I'm not going to do everything, but I will look at all that I can as quick as I can. I will leave links to everything that I'm talking about. It's going to be mainly from MMO Champion, WoW Insider, and Blizz Planet, so all credit goes to those guys. And the pictures, of course, in the background from Blizzard.com and the press release themselves. So I take no credit for any of this. I'm just relaying the message as best as I can. And, of course, giving my own take and spin and opinion on everything as well. So, starting right off, I'm going to go right into the biggest news of all. No, I don't have a beta date. I wish. But the final patch of Miss Pandaria. They are talking about their, basically, what they're wanting to do. How Chris Metzen even said that there is no like, big, huge Deathwing, Lich King, end boss kind of guy. There is none. And that it is totally, as he puts it, red versus blue, and how it's always been, and that's how this whole expansion is, what this whole expansion is about. The Alliance versus the Horde. Now, that being said, they do have an end boss. Yes, that's right. At the end, the very last patch of Pandaria, or Mist, or Mop, or whatever the heck you want to call it, the Siege of Orgrimmar. Yes, that's right, you heard me. Orgrimmar. Now, it's not going to be an Alliance-only raid. It is going to be for both factions. Basically, what's coming down, or what's going to happen, Garrosh is going to do things so horrific, so bad, that you, whatever faction you are going to go into Orgrimmar and kick him out, and bring him down, and end his reign as the war chief. That's it. And I heard that. I was like, holy crap. The fact that you're actually going to be influential in your own pretty much storyline. Lich King is one thing. Deathwing is one thing. Illidan is one thing. To go in and go, you're done. GTFO. Bye-bye. Awesome. I absolutely love that. That is freaking amazing. I love it. And the fact that they're not restricting the Horde or the Alliance, and that both are going in to take care of it, shows that it's not the factions working together, but the fact that he just does something so atrocious that you just have to turn around and go, what the hell? And go, we need somebody new in here, and start the speculation. Who's going to be war chief? Will Thrall be coming back? Will Vol'jin take over? Sylvanas? Lor'themar? I don't know. Nobody knows. They haven't said anything. Not a word. But there you go. That is it. That is just awesome. And that's all we know. All we know is that you're just going to go in and kick him out. Alright. So, moving on. We're actually going to move into more of the end game stuff. They announced that there will be 3 raids at the start, and that is with 14 bosses total. I think it's total. I don't know if it's 14 bosses a piece, or if it's 14 bosses total, that is definitely more than what they had on launch with Kata. And it's just 2 bosses more, and then 2 world bosses on top of that as well. So it's kind of like 16-ish. Something like that. But, yep, that's what'll be there. And, of course, then they have the new LFR loot system. Now, one of my guildies, who happens to also be my brother, and I were discussing about a couple of weeks ago how they could fix the LFR loot system. And I'll give you what we were talking about, and the best way to look at that is to kind of look at it. Well, we'll take how it is now. If you go into the LFR and you go into the Dragon Soul, you're getting gear that is very similar to what you would get in Dragon Soul if you did it as a 10-man or 25-man, but with the LFR. Now, that gear is slightly scaled back, but not astronomical in its changes. It's not like, oh, well, it's this one has, 100 more hit points or not hit points when I'm talking about stamina, and this one has, than the one that you're getting in the LFR. It's not that drastic. But what's going to happen is everybody, well, what we thought, I'm sorry, let me backtrack myself here. I'm getting ahead of myself. What we thought should happen, what they should do, is instead of giving you that, give you gear that was comparable, not the exact same, but comparable to the gear that you had in the last raid. And in the instance, or in the case of the first 3 raids of Pandaria, or even Cataclysm, the heroic dungeons. So when you do the LFR, you're not getting, okay, you're not having that option of, I can go do these, but if I go do this, I get better gear. It's more like, I could go do my dungeons, or I can go do the LFR and get pretty much the same thing without really having this huge, gap I'm looking for. And not only that, but it would set you up rather than push you ahead. It would set you up. So, for example, if you did the dungeons and you didn't do the LFR, you don't really get penalized for not doing the LFR, whereas if you do the LFR and instead of the dungeons, you're not getting penalized for not doing the dungeons. You kind of get comparable. It's pretty much the same. Or in the case of raids, if you go from the original raids to Firelands, you're not getting penalized for doing the Firelands raid and getting way better awesome gear than you would have if you did the 3 other dungeons. You'd get comparable gear, to which we thought was a good idea. And instead of having this, hey, this gear that I'm getting from the LFR is actually better than the gear that I'm getting from the Dragon Soul raid in and of itself. You are set up to do it without having to actually suffer. And in that, if you were wanting to go into a regular raid, you could do so. Now, what Blizzard is planning on doing, that's what they're doing. What they're planning on doing is it's going to be an individual role instead of this huge group role where everybody's battling for the same thing. It's going to be individual, and it looks like the highest rolls will win an item from the boss. Upon winning that role, if the boss has an item that you can use, you will win it. If the boss doesn't, then you just get some gold. And to be honest, that's not too bad. I still would like to see them do what he and I were thinking about, and that is, or what my brother and I were talking about, and that is the comparable stuff. That way, like I said, you're not really competing highly, and nobody is really missing out, but you're getting set up, and you're taking that first step, baby step and you're in. Alright. Let's see, what else are we going to talk about? I believe I talked about did I talk about the 3 raids? I don't think so. It looks like they're going to have the 3 raids. 3 raids on launch, kind of like what they did with Kata. Yeah, I did talk about them. Yep, 3 raids, 14 bosses, 2 world bosses, possibly 16, maybe more, I'm not sure. Let's see, they're going to have 9 dungeons. Yep, 9 dungeons. 9 new dungeons, 6 of them are brand new. There are 6 new dungeons. 3 of them are, alright, well, here, let me break it down. There's going to be 9 new dungeons. 6 of them are totally brand new. 3 of them are not. 3 of them are going to be Sholomance and Scarlet Monastery. Yes, I know, that's only 2, but there's going to be Scarlet Monastery 1 and 2. And instead of 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's going to be 1 and 2. And they're just going to combine, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and put them together. So it'll be 2 dungeons instead of 4. And the best part of all, the oh, my brain just went. I was like, oh, I have great news. It's awesome. It's Sholomance and Scholar Monastery will be level 90 heroic dungeons. So kind of like what we had with uh, Dead Mines and Shadowfang Keep. I was going to say Scarlet Monastery. I don't know why we're talking about Scarlet Monastery. But yes, you're going to have kind of like how they were, heroic mode. That's what they're going to be. They're going to be heroic versions of the original dungeons. Hooray! I love one. Yeah, everybody, they're reusing stuff. I love it when they reuse the old dungeons because they do have rather good dungeons, and those are some of the best ones. Alright. But, let's see, I'm not seeing much more about the raid stuff. If I'm missing anything, I do apologize. It's all in the links. You guys can go and read it. Let's see. Oh, we can talk about scenarios. Scenarios will take place at level 90 in an instance and reward reputation and valor points. You don't need a healer, tank, or DPS. Just DPS is fine. And it takes about 10 to 30 minutes to complete, and 5 or more will be available for launch. So there you go. That's what scenarios will be about. There's also challenge modes, and that's going to go hand in hand with the dungeons, I believe. And they did announce that at BlizzCon as well. Now, let's talk about Pandaria. Now, what they did, if you remember back at Pandaria, they had 5 zones. They had, I'm trying to remember what they had the, what did they, well, I remember what they had, I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I know they had 5 zones, and coming up with the launch, here we go, they had the Kunlai Summit, Townlong Steps, whatever, Vale of Eternal Blossoms, the Valley of the Four Winds, and the Jade Forest. And that were the 5 zones. Now they are actually going to have 7 zones. They didn't lose any space. They added more space. Kind of cut some of them in half, but added more to it as well. So Kunlai Summit, Townlong Steps, Vale of the Eternal Blossoms, Valley of the Four Winds, and Jade Forest are all still there. They added the Crossarang Wilds and the Dread Wastelands. Dread Wastelands is kind of right under Townlong Steps, whatever. And the Crossarang Wilds is under Valley of the Four Winds. It kind of looked like they separated the 2 that were already there and just made them 2 more zones. So instead of just 5 zones, we are getting 7. So they did increase the amount of zones that we are getting. The Pandarians, we'll talk about them. There has been the female Pandarian release, and to be quite honest, I wasn't sold on Pandarians to begin with, but I wasn't like, oh no, they're putting pandas in the game. What the hell? Oh, I'm quitting. Screw you, Blizzard. But no, I didn't do that. I was of the mind, well, okay, they look kind of cool, but I'm not really, woo, pandas. And I'm not really, pandas. I'm more of the, well, they're kind of cool looking, but, and I love what the whole plan that they're doing, and whatnot. And I may make one. I'm not positive yet. I was kind of on the fence about it. The female Pandaren, though, I don't know. There's just something about it. I do like it. I like the look of it. It's not too bad. And the fact that they have models up, that's way more than typically we get. Usually, the female models are the last ones that everybody gets. I know, it's like we had the Janai, you had to wait for the Janai, you had to, Blood Elves, they had figured out pretty easily. Goblins, they had figured out pretty easily. Worgen, we had to wait forever for. Female Pandarians, we haven't even gotten into the beta. I'm like, yep, here it is. That's the other thing I've heard to kind of get on this. One thing I've heard is that there's a lot of stuff that they already have done. At least, I think they said maybe 3 out of 7 or 5 out of 7. I can't remember where I read or how many I read. But that a lot of the zones are pretty much already fleshed out. And they have a lot of the mobs and a lot of everything already set into place. I would not be surprised if a beta is soon because of that alone. The fact that they seem to have a lot of that already set apart. Alright, but back into Pandaria. So you've got the Pandarians, you have all that set up. The Pandaria's got all new stuff to it. It's got new zones, and they did it to add more content, give us more, less of a linear progression path. And so leveling for a second or third time, it isn't like Cataclysm is now, where you kind of start off, you have two choices. You can go to Bashir, or you can go to Mount Hyjal. And then after that, after you complete those, you can go to Deephold. And then you can go to Uldum. And then you go to Twilight Highlands. And that's it. And that's all there is. Your only choice at the very beginning is, do you go to Underwater World or do you go to Mount Hyjal? And Underwater World is very hard to fight in. And again, my brother and I, to be quite honest, were just discussing this earlier. Beautiful zone. Love the story. Hate going through it. It is horrendous. It's bad. It's horrendously bad. Don't like it. The fighting is just a pain. And that's really what it is. It's the mechanics of the fighting that kill that zone. But the fact that they are giving you more, it's kind of cool. Let's see. You're going to have a Tillers faction that will let you run your own farm. That's right. Farmville is coming to Mr. Pandaria, to World of Warcraft. So, whoo! Let's see. There's going to be more mounts and less color swaps for different rewards. Warlocks are getting the most class changes. Let's see. Cloud Serpents are the Pandarian's mount. And you can get your own, but it takes about 20 days of doing daily quests to do it. Every race except Goblin and Worgen are gonna learn the ways of the monk. Again, we know this. PvP pet battles are gonna be fun and casual. Not like you have to do it. They're going to give armor to creatures to give them a varied look and appearance. And that's actually kind of cool, so that not all of them are looking the same. Actually gives them something kind of new. Trying to remember where I was. What else there is. Let's talk about the UI. They're making some changes to the UI. Yes, that's right. Changes to the UI. I'll say it again. Changes to the UI. For example, I'm just going to repeat it over and over again. Some of the updates that they're going to make. They're going to be doing mega damage. I'm not sure I kind of agree with this. I do kind of disagree with the mega damage thing. I kind of liked the item squish. I would much rather have that than you've done mega damage. I don't know. That's the way they want to go. That's fine. Adding M's and K's to things, but to be honest, to be really, really honest, I much prefer their original or one of their ideas of just squashing everything down and making everything. I don't have 500 bazillion health points. I have X amount. I have 50,000. What level are you? 89. That's fine. I had no problem with that. This 100,000 HP, it's just, to me, it just seems silly and it's getting out of hand. I really wish they would just go along with that whole, we're going to squish everything down kind of thing, because it to me, it just seems like too much. Let's see. They are also going to, the talent pane is going to be updated, of course, because of the new talents. It's going to be a new buff tracker system. So it's been simplified to 8 core buffs. And the 8 buffs are basically stats, attack power, spell power, critical strike, stamina, attack speed, spell haste, and mastery. And that's main 8. There's actually going to be a change to the character creation screen too. For example, if you're going to make an alt or a new character or whatever, it's going to have, for example, if you decide to change your hairstyle right now, if you're going to do it, you have to keep on clicking a button. Click a button, click a button, click a button. There you go. That's one I want. now the new one is going to actually have a list and kind of like a bar full of the hairstyles. For example, this is just an example, a bar of the hairstyles, so you can go, okay, that is the one that I want, and there you go. They are also going to have on the bottom right hand of the screen a little like picture of what your class does. So kind of like what's in Diablo 3 now. I haven't seen it, first person. I've only seen it secondhand off of YouTube, but I know exactly what they're talking about because I did see it. So let's see. Talk about they've got some glyphs that they're going to be adding into the game. For example, what's the druids? The druids are going to get some new glyphs that change them around. For the best example that I can give, in that they're going to have a glyph that will change their, cheetah mount or cheetah look into a stag, and apparently with that glyph you can actually be a rideable mount for your friend. That's right, your friends can mount you and you can ride them around all over the place. They're also going to get one so they look like the old tree, tree form. And then there's another one I read, it's going to be for the Moonkin. They're going to have a new look for the Moonkin as well. For those of you who are like, and I have a friend like this, she has like a 500 level 85s, and you don't want to get rid of any of your characters. Well, guess what? You don't have to. You want to make a monk, but you have 10. What are you going to do? You don't want to get rid of your hunter, and your death knight is way too awesome. Well, how about an 11th character slot? That's right, you're going to have 11 slots available to you now. Yep, so everybody's going to be able to get a slot. So you have that slot for your new panda monk. Or whatever monk you decide to make. Warlocks were given the most changes. And let me see if I can remember what that information is. Oh, like I said, there's so much information out there. Just trying to find one little tiny bit of it is just like I'm going through everything I can find. But apparently, Warlocks did get the most changes with this new. What's happening with the new female-male Warlock pets? They're still being considered. Warlock pets are still on there. They're working on it. Here we go. Warlocks. Warlock currently has had the most changes. Destruction Warlocks now build up a fiery force, and their whole body catches on fire. So you can run around like, I'm on fire, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. So that'll be kind of cool. Demonology Warlocks will have a bar that fills up, allowing them to control when and how long they can stay in demon form. That's kind of cool. Female Voidwalkers. It's still on the table. It's a rather long list. But we may still see them in 5.0 or 5.1, maybe later. And there will be new pets. Yes, that's right. If you choose the right talent combinations, you can get a Shivan, which are the big 6-armed demons, a Wrathguard, and a few others, like a Beholder, big orbs with eyes. So there you go. And they think Paladins are in a really good place, so there's nothing that they're going to be changing. Of course, you got the new class coming in, which are the Monks. And of course, the main source of energy is going to be called the Chi. The tank and DPS specs of the Monk will use energy so that most of their abilities do not need cooldowns, as well as Chi. The feel of the Monk's abilities are very unique, and you get to choose how you wish to combo the spells together, and giving them a Street Fighter button mash feel. Awesome. Do I need a gamepad? And apparently the Monks have some amazing animations. I haven't seen it, so I couldn't tell you. And they are changing major glyphs in a way that they think will surprise and amaze players. They have always wanted minor glyphs to be fun glyphs, quote unquote. And we'll be seeing a lot of those new ones. And one idea they have is that the mage teleport Dalaran will actually send you to the Dalaran crater instead of Dalaran and Northrend, which would be funny. Or a warrior could have one that fears critters when they use battle shout or commanding shout. That would be funny too. Alright guys, that again, there is so much information out there. And oops, sorry about that. And I just there's just way too much. I'm not gonna cover it all because I'm already going long on this video and my computer is hating me for it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. If you guys would like more, I'm more than happy to continue it. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it here. And you guys can click the links below and read everything you want about it. I am totally stoked for this expansion pack. I am excited. I cannot wait. This is going to be great. I honestly feel like this is just going to be one of the best expansion packs. It's definitely, I hate to say, I don't think Cataclysm was a letdown, but on par with this information, Cataclysm was like, yeah, look at all these changes. It's awesome. It's amazing. But this is just going to be one of those where, whoa, this kicks ass. Alright guys, I'm Ectomaster and I will see you next time.